All right, this should be what video? This should be video like number 5. I think it's 5. This is gonna be like a recap slash like review type thing. Before we move on to like a couple things we could learn about, we're gonna kind of just go review and yeah, go over the trade recap from last night. So, real quick, we went over candlesticks, we went over trends, we went over breakout structure, we went over fair value gaps and inverse fair value gaps, liquidity, things like that. So, we're going to kind of take those things we learned and we're kind of going to plug them in and get a good review of what happened in the market. Alrighty, where are we at? All right, get that out of here and get that out of here. So we're gonna go mark our highs and lows real quick. So this is on. Boom. Here's our New York high. Here. Then we're gonna go mark our London high real quick because this is gonna be two things that that came into play last night. So, and a quick reminder about the highs and lows, the key highs and lows of session highs and lows. Remember about London session, New York, Asia session, and back in that liquidity video, I put a little box you can screenshot of the times and all that good stuff. So we're gonna go on the 5-minute time frame. Well, real quick too. I don't know if I specified too in the fair value gap video. I don't think I did, but I want you to keep in mind on the higher time frame, the higher the time frame, the stronger the fair value gap can be. So I would say on the 15 and higher, those are key fair value gaps that could possibly reverse the market. And then the higher you get, the stronger possibility it has. So obviously a 30-minute gap is going to have a stronger possibility of flipping the market rather a 5-minute fair value gap, right? Same thing with like an hour fair value gap is going to be stronger than a 15. A 4 hour is going to be stronger than an hour or a 30-minute. You get the jizz, right? So the bigger the time frame, the stronger the fair value gap can be. So what I did too is before market opened too, what I did is I marked out a high and I wanted to see if there's any fair value gaps going back down that we could bounce off of and reverse, right? And we did have one right here, which is a 30-minute gap, which I don't have saved on here. 30-minute FVGA. All right, so we had a fair value gap here on the 30-minute time frame. So we marked that top wick of the first candle to the bottom wick of the third, and we have this gap, right? So I think that was the only one I really saw. If we go on the hourly, yeah, we do have a gap here, but I was really worried about the 30-minute. Then we have like kind of a gap here, we got a gap here, but I wasn't really gonna hold a trade that long anyway, so kind of didn't really pay attention to it. See, if we go on the 15-minute, there I think, yeah, there's like a little 15 here and 15 here, right? But together it was a 30-minute, which I just paid attention to that one. So we're gonna go in the 5-minute time frame and kind of walk through of what happened in Asia session, right? So we opened, where did we open? Where's 5 p.m.? 5 p.m. we opened right here. I'm gonna use where is it at? This little line so you don't get confused. We're gonna do this vertical. Boom. So this was Asia open right here. I don't want to make it blue. Let's make it white. Nah, actually, you know what? Whatever. Move that. Our Asia open. This candle, boom, we're on a 5-minute time frame. So what we were looking for, my plan was to get a bounce off of this New York low and trade lower, right? If we get good displacement and so forth. So I marked out our New York high. We were very close to it, and we also were close to this 30-minute fair value gap. So it's kind of going to be a very short trade. So what I did was wait for price to come up to be opened here. I wanted to wait for price to come up and hit this high, which we did here. We're going to go down to the 1 minute and kind of get a better observation. All right. So I was saying, we're waiting. Boom, 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 we're waiting. Then we come over here, hit this high. We start seeing these wicks. We're wicking, and then boom. Now we have a low. I mean, we can use this low, broke structure with this low, or this candle. Could have entered here. I entered a little bit early. I think I entered off of this one getting broke. Right, and I had a stop loss somewhere around there. And then I targeted this 30-minute down here because I had a feeling it was gonna reverse. Very high possibility since we're on a higher time frame uptrend. So this was my trade last night because I couldn't make too much money because I was on my funded accounts. And so yeah, that was the trade pretty much off the reversal from this New York high. And then we're gonna go back to the 5-minute since you basically saw, you know, we had a break of structure on the 1 minute, boom, and then we traded lower. Then, like I said, on these higher time frame for value gaps, we basically treat it like just how we do at like kind of like the key highs and lows of a session, like liquidity, key highs and lows. This is another like form of liquidity. It could be orders sitting here that people want to get into, and prices love to fill these gaps, like I was saying, and then we will come and sweep all this, and then we keep going even higher, right? Which we did. Had that V shape, and then we continued higher, and then, like I said, we target. So now that this New York high was already hit, we kind of get that out of here. And then if we're going, let's go on the 5-minute. And then let's say you got in at this wherever. So let's say there's a breaking structure or whatever on the 1 minute, right? You got in, and then if you targeted that London high, boom, you could have made some bread, right? Where exactly did we hit it? It was really like here, but I mean, we could have took profit earlier there, doesn't matter. But yeah, boom, it was pretty clean last night. Pretty textbook, pretty clean. And then from there, I mean, we've really just been going crazy. So we're clearly on a higher time frame uptrend, as you can see. So ideally we should be looking for longs and when Asia session open, right? So that's really like the trade recap. I didn't take longs. I took real quick shorts off that New York high. I'm gonna mark it again and put it on the screen. Yeah, it was here. So I'm gonna mark the trade I actually took. And I'm kind of gonna keep it there. Boom. And then I just traded towards this 30-minute fair value gap, and I got out of there. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple. Like this was very textbook last night during the Asia session. I usually trade New York session because I just don't get up early enough, but his Asia session, it could work too. So it could be a little slower, but I mean, it works too. So this was the trade recap. That's all I did last night, and then I was chilling. Could have easily took this little bounce off the 30-minute fair value gap, targeted the high, but I kind of want to guarantee it. I'm kind of just trying to get a quick payout, another payout real quick, and then I'll probably take more trades, like going crazy like that. But right now I'm kind of just taking a little easy, a little slow, get this payout, and then I'm gonna start trying to look for bigger trades. But for right now I'm kind of get this payout. Yeah, this was textbook. If you want to go back and try to mark it out and try to put in things we learned, the tools and the little tricks and all that. So yeah, if you just waited for, once again, if you just waited for break of structure, we had this low, we broke it here, you could have got in and then boom, trade to the 30-minute fair value gap. But yeah, this is a good example of a trade that worked out pretty well. So same here. If you wanted to take this, it's the same thing, you know. So yeah, any questions, let me know. But that's kind of like a recap, kind of overview. You know, we talked that we had some liquidity here. We got a liquidity sweep. We had a little V shape we made, break of structure on the 1 minute and the 5 minute. Could have entered based off of that. Target 30-minute fair value gap. Boom, you take profit. And if you wanted to get in, you could here, like when it was live. If you like over reversing again, boom, you could have gotten it here off of a break of structure, and then yeah. But yeah, that's that was all that happened last night. It's pretty simple. And then we chopped a little bit here. We were just patient, wait for this to get hit, boom, and then boom, and then ever since then that kick started all the movement, and then we went all the way to this London high. But yeah, if y'all got any questions, let me know. Yeah, that's really it. I'm gonna get into a couple of things like I don't use, but there's some things I've learned later in trading, but I don't use it. This is kind of the model. All I really trade is liquidity sweeps, wait for a break of structure, inverse your value gap, trade to other liquidity, and boom. That's really all I do is trade to liquidity or trade once liquidity gets hit. So yeah, I'll kind of, if I get a trade in tonight, I'm kind of gonna do another recap of what trade I did. So, but yeah, if any questions, let me know, and I'm out of this thing.